This is a book review of Conan Serpent War. Now, this is a trade paperback, fairly thin trade paperback. It's about 90 odd pages. So you can see there. My copy is sadly slightly bashed. That was through the post, rather depressing. It's, like I say, fairly thin, all obviously in colour all the way through. And there's the back. Now, it collects some work here. Conan Serpent War issue 1 to 4, which I didn't buy, I must admit. Didn't realise it was out. And Supernatural Thrillers, which I haven't got either. So issue 3, and that was from 1972. The other ones are more recent. I'm not certain how long ago it was, but Conan Serpent War 1 to 4. Now it's by Zub, Eaton, Segovia, Pizzari, and Guara. My apologies if I said their names wrong. And also for the Supernatural Thrillers, Gil Kane, one of my favourite artists. So what does this got? This has got man named James Allison will die soon. It's not his first death. James has lived many, many lives across many eras. And he brings together these characters. Conan, by various mystical means, of course. That's about the only way, of course, drags them out of time to join forces. Conan the Barbarian, Solomon Kane, Dark Agnes, who's a new character as far as I'm aware. I'm certain this is the first appearance of Dark Agnes, and Moon Knight. So it's a really weird combination. Now, I know very little about Moon Knight. I'm a mega fan of Conan and Solomon Kane, but Moon Knight, not so much. And I'm just going to go through the book now. Got an advert there at front for Savage Avengers. Now, that's got Conan as well. Conan seems to turn up everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised soon. Fantastic Four. What about the X-Men? Maybe the Champions. Certainly there's a place in the Champions. Or the Defenders. Put him in everywhere. What the heck? Conan Serpent War. Then you've got an introduction, and I love introductions in books. Always good to have an introduction. Normally by Roy Thomas. But however, this one is by Jim Sub. Now it's very dark, this. So you've got lots of montages of various scenes. Now it's not a traditional, for me, panel layout. Obviously, modern style of comics do this sort of big page like that. All very dramatic stuff. It's very, very dark. They must use a lot of black ink, as I can see. So you've got Solomon Kane there. And then you've got some other scenes. You've got some lovely scenes here. You've got, whatever it is, Njord, the hunter, Mark Spector, the knight. You've got Agnes, the fighter. Oh, I don't know what poor old Conan is. Conan, the adventurer. Wait, he's a fighter as well, isn't he? Solomon Kane, the paladin. Yeah, I'm not going to show that page because that would totally spoil the story. But you've got the serpent. Obviously, the story is about the serpent, and you've got a great, again, very, very, very dark. The lettering is good. I actually found it very easy to read. Actually, it's a very easy book to read. Under an hour, you can read this quite easily. And the panels, the construction is it's a bit slow, I think, in the first issue. You've got all the build up about the characters. You've got a little bit of behind the scenes of this one. 1522, this is where obviously Dark Agnes, and she's obviously knows how to use the sword, and she's obviously goes to this village and all the various things that happen. Also, you've got Moon Knight, who meets up with the characters as well. So I think the story is quite good. Once it gets going, actually is not bad. There's a lot of usual headlopping of various things. What you expect, that kind of stuff. And also lots of gruesome action between the characters. Now, Dark Agnes, I found, I must admit, was a sort of like cross between sort of, obviously not as religious maybe, so, well, of course 1522 in France, she would have been, I'm certain, would have been just equally as religious as Solomon Kane. But you've got a mix of that with Red Sonja, or Sonia, however you want to say it. And you, of course, got lots of serpents and things all the way through it. And I genuinely enjoyed it. It was good. Yeah, I liked the story. It had a decent pace all the way through it once it got past the first comic. And it's well drawn. Yeah, I liked it. And then, I'm not going to say anything more about the story. I'm just going to maybe show another scene. There's some pretty odd scenes, this one. Writing is a form of, and you've got real sort of, again, lots of dark ink. Lots of dark ink. Don't know. That's the popular way of doing it. Now, of course, to show the difference, you've got, now this completely changes. You've got Supernatural Thrillers featuring the Valley of the Worm. And maybe because of that title, somehow Valley of the Worm. Worm is massive. I probably didn't buy it at the time. Don't know why, because it's a chiller by Robert E. Howard, one of the great monster epics of all time, as it says. And Gil Kane I love, so you got Valley of the Worm. Now, they've recently brought that out as a True Believer magazine, so if you want to get that separately, you can, of course, get that separately as well. And so that's something. So this is adapted from the story of Robert E. Howard. Now, I read Valley of the Worm years ago. I haven't read it recently, so I must reread it. But lots of dramatic action, always. Gil Kane, you know when you get a Gil Kane comic, you know immediately his style. Just the characters, everyone looks like Gil Kane's characters. And even the animals, there's lots of great dramatic scenes with a long tooth, the massive limbed with low sung, all good stuff. And once you got all the way through there, you got the back. You got a little bit of bonus material, though it's not very much. It's some connecting variants as well as variant covers, etc. So, you know, it's quite decent. Yeah. And then another variant in the back. And then another advert for another Avengers book. Though I'm not certain the character, obviously Scarlet Witch, don't know who the other characters are. Got Vision, Hulk, obviously Rocky Raccoon, etc. Well, I did enjoy it. It's a bit thin. Obviously, I would love it to be a 300, 400 page epic story, but heck, it's a trade paperback and I thoroughly recommend it.